Welcome to another episode on our channel. I'm going to be talking about something more informational today, something that hopefully gives you a better knowledge base as to your rights on eBay, so you weren't taken advantage of. And this is based on a recent experience, so it's fresh in my mind, so I thought I would share that experience, but try to give you some information to help protect yourself on eBay. So I've been noticing more and more that sellers, especially if they're overseas, will push the delivery date way ahead, 4 to 6 weeks out. And they will say, you'll get your item between this date and this date. So it's like 4 to 6 weeks out. So you pay for the item right away, and it's still going to take 4 to 6 weeks to get to you. That would make perfect sense if it was a pre-order, because obviously the seller's waiting for the pre-order to get to them, so they in turn can send it to you. That would make perfect sense. That would be legitimate. But if they have the item in stock, it doesn't really make sense to push that delivery date way out there. The only way it would make sense and be a positive interpretation is if they deal with thousands and thousands of sales, so it is a bit slow in terms of getting items to buyers. But another possible interpretation is that they push it 4 to 6 weeks out. You may forget about the purchase. And if you go a day beyond the last day it's supposed to be delivered, you're out your money. You can't file a case one day after it's listed to be delivered. And some people may be betting on the idea that you may forget that purchase, because they're doing it a lot these days. So I think that's one possible interpretation. So I purchased an item not that long ago, about 2 months ago, and paid for it immediately. And it had that delivery date pushed way ahead, 4 to 6 weeks out. And you're always going to be on guard a lot more when you purchase an item. You pay for it right away that day, and the seller immediately purchases a shipping label, and then it sits. And it sits, and it sits, and it sits 5, 6, 7 days. It's sitting. It's not moving. Now, eBay will say that it's shipped. What they mean is it's in the process of being shipped. But when you hit that tracking button, if it only says shipping label has been purchased, technically it has not been shipped. It's only shipped when it says it's been, brought in to the postal carrier. So if you purchase an item, pay for it right away, shipping label is purchased, and it just sits, start IMing that person after like 4 or 5 days and let them know that you're watching this item. Chances are, if you do that, they'll actually ship it. They'll know you're not a person who's going to forget about this item. But you'll say something like, I see that the shipping label has been purchased. Can you give me an ETA on when it's going to be sent? And you do that every couple of days. Chances are they're going to send it to you. And that's a good thing. You get your item sooner than later. So I did that with somebody not too long ago where that happened. They purchased that shipping label and they sat on it, and I kept IMing them, and they finally shipped it. So it got to me a lot sooner than it should have, which I was thrilled about. I got a cut rate deal on it. I mean, it was like less than half of what this item was being sold for by other distributors. So it was a cut rate deal. So I was very happy until I opened it. And when I opened it, it came in a plastic liner with a little bubble wrap around it, and the art box was damaged. And so when I got it, I let them know the art box was damaged. I sent them the photos and I said, I'd like to return it and get a replacement. And they said they didn't have the item in stock. They checked with their warehouse, it wasn't in stock. Well, I already had looked at their eBay listing site and they had 8 in stock. So they either misled me or the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. So they either misled or lied to me, or the right hand, like I said, didn't know what the left hand was doing. Regardless, I thought I need to watch them. And so they then in turn said, would you accept a partial refund? And I said, in my head, I said, I got a cut rate deal. It's not from a Hot Toys. It's not a Hot Toys item. It's this unknown brand. I got a cut rate deal. The figure is awesome. I really don't need the box. So I decided to take the partial refund. And a couple days later, I got an IM from them saying that the refund was issued. Well, I knew I was in trouble then because eBay had not alerted me to a refund. So I double checked with eBay. I got on chat with them and I asked them, did this seller send a refund or initiate a refund? They said, no, they have not even initiated a refund. So the seller told me the refund was issued when in reality the refund had not been issued or even initiated on their end. So strike 2. First, they told me the item wasn't in stock, which it was. 8 of them were in stock. And second, they said refund was issued and it was not. So now I'm done with them. I open a return case and let them know I'm going to return the item. And they said, okay, send it back. That's not how it works, according to eBay policy. Even though an eBay seller can say on their listing, no returns accepted, they have to accept a return if the item isn't received as described. And I had photographs that it wasn't received as described because it was described as brand new and sealed. And mine was very much damaged. So I got on eBay and let them know I'm not going to accept a partial refund. I want to return the thing. And they said, good to go. They have to send you a shipping label. So just know that if they send you something and it's not as described, they have to, number one, accept the return, but they have to supply you with a shipping label. Now, they had IM'd me that I needed to ship it back to them. And I wasn't going to do that. So I had IM them and explain they needed to do that. And then I just went silent and waited until the last day of the case. Now, this is important. Make sure you follow up with closure on the last day of the case. When eBay says that you need to close the case with your decision-making process, make sure you do that on that day and not a day later, okay? So on the day that I had to close the case, I let them know, I have not received a shipping label from them. And they said, okay, we will refund you completely for the item. And that's exactly what eBay did. So I essentially got this item free. But more importantly, it wasn't really as much about the money as holding them accountable. Again and again and again, I'm seeing sellers do this more often. They push it ahead. And I think it's paying for them to do that. I don't think there are enough people holding them accountable. Otherwise, we wouldn't have these situations, is my thinking anyway. So I hope you find the information useful. Okay, so I'm going to show you right now where it says on eBay what I just told you about. It's their responsibility to provide for the label, the return label. And if you get an item that isn't received as described, you have every right to ask for return. I hope you find or have found the information helpful. If you have, please consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.